in the hopes of encouraging you to keep going no matter how hard it is, and to show you how loved you are by your Heavenly Father. You are about to hear Joshua's story. Trauma, chaos, and violence silenced Joshua and caused him to believe that he had no value. After spending time in over 17 prisons, he gave his life to the Lord. He was blessed to parole to a program called True Purpose, where he began the process of finding his voice. Watch now.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Joshua David Rollins. I was born in Detroit, Michigan on May 28, 1985. I grew up in the southwest side of Detroit, and I had a very traumatic and chaotic childhood that kind of led me down some roads that I'm not really proud of. But because of God, I've been restored.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about some of the things that you went through?
From the time I was born to the time I was 3 when my father went to prison from the first time, I experienced a lot of violence, a lot of beatings of my mom, to the point where one time she was almost beat to death. I burned down our family house when I was 2 years old and was yanked from our arms and spent 3 years in a psychiatric/behavior modification hospital where they decided I was ADHD because I couldn't sit still, and decided they wanted to put me on 120 milligrams of Ritalin a day, which I think was the precursor for me being addicted to stimulants. Okay.
So you went through some addiction then?
Yes.
And how long did that last?
With street drugs or I started using street drug or started self-medicating around the age of 11, and that lasted up until about almost 3 years ago. Wow.
I assume that caused a lot of chaos in your own life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of it.
Jail.
Jail, prison. Prison 3 times in Michigan, once down here in Tennessee. So 2 different states, 4 different times of prison, 17 different prison facilities, countless numbers of county jails, overnight stays, weekend stays, all kinds of just in and out.
So what brought you to a point where you said, I don't want to live this life anymore?
Well,
I assume for a long time you didn't want to live that life, but what gave you the strength to make that change?
that would have been when I first went to prison down here back in 2021. My niece had gotten sick with COVID, and before she slipped into a coma and she passed away, she told my mom to tell my Uncle Josh that I love him, I never gave up on him, and I wish he'd get his life right. And it was kind of a breaking point. She was 25 years old. She was autistic. She was a really, really big piece of my life. She had such a pure heart. Probably one of the purest spirits I've ever met in my life. All she wanted to do was love everybody. And when she passed away, it kind of tore me down. And I think that's when I finally hit rock bottom, because it made me realize that it doesn't matter how old somebody is, anybody can go at any time. And who am I to be in prison, not being able to be there for my family or for my kids when something like that happens? Like, what if that would have been one of my kids that passed away when I was in prison? Would I have ever gotten out? And that thought scares me, because then I was sitting there doing the same thing to my children that my father did to me, which was be in and out of jail and prison my whole life. And I want better.
So you hit rock bottom and you decided now's the time to make a change. How did you make that change? What happened?
I hit my knees in tears and I just asked God to guide me. I told him, I'm done with this life and I need you to show me how to change. Show me how I can be a better man and live a loving life and spread love to people that need it. I turned it over to him. I spent 18 months in prison down here, and out of the 18 months, I probably spent 16 months of it in my cell, either in the Bible or crying, because there was a lot of trauma. I had to get through it. How can I help people heal if I'm still broken myself?
Right. So you got out of prison then and went to True Purpose.
Yes.
Okay.
I directly off the bus, Carlos picked me up in Knoxville, and I was rough. I was rough around the edges when I came into True Purpose. I didn't really talk much, and when I did talk, it was very abrasive. I came off rude. I came off attitudey, and it was still a process. I was still trying to heal from some things, and it was also a thing where I was kind of standoffish. I had a bunch of grown men telling me they loved me, which never really had that while I had the words, but I didn't see no actions behind it. And being at True Purpose, it showed me a different side of it. It showed me the actions more so than the words. And it created a place for me to feel safe and just learn how to be myself and to grow into who I'm supposed to be.
You experienced love for the first time.
Yes.
So how long ago was that?
14 months ago.
Okay. So tell me how your life looks different today, 14 months later.
So 14 months later, I'm a graduate of True Purpose. I'm in college full time. I work with kids on Tuesdays at CR. I work with youth on Wednesday nights, and I volunteer with kids on Sundays. And once a month, I go to Richard L. Bean Juvenile Detention Facility to mentor incarcerated youth.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
It's God. Yeah, I mean, I didn't open not a single one of those doors. And for me to, and I look at the influence that I have on the youth and the kids that are here in Maryville, and I'm like, how do I have this influence? I mean, I'm probably one of the most tatted up people here in Maryville, and yet these kids and these youth are trawled to. And the only way I can explain it is God.
Yeah. That's great. And those tattoos tell a story, right? And so especially when you're reaching the youth that's incarcerated, right? It gives you a different relationship with them, I assume.
It gives a different relationship, but it also gives like kind of some background about what I've been through. I have problematic across my forehead because it's something I was labeled as a child. I was always called a heathen, so that's right here. I used to get told to kill myself, so I got KYS underneath my right eye. I had an upside down cross, which is now covered by a dove, because I felt that I was unworthy to be saved and I was unworthy to be loved because of abuse that I experienced as a child. And that's just on the face. It doesn't include, everything that's all over me.
Yeah. And in 14 months, God showed you how none of that was true. Right. Right. Because he reached down and dragged you out of that and brought people into your life that could show you this love.
Yes.
That's awesome. So there's a lot of people that had similar childhood as you, maybe they didn't, but they still feel unworthy to be loved. They feel like ending their lives. They feel broken and lost. What could you say to them to show them that there's hope, to bring them encouragement?
Just reach out. I mean, if you got to hit your knees and pray to God and offer him your hand and ask him to guide you into a place that's safe for you, you got to find that safe place. You got to find that place where you feel like you can be exactly how you're supposed to. It took me 38 years to find my place, where I feel safe, to where I could feel like I could be. It's the most important place in my life. I finally found home. I finally found where I can be a kid and where I can help other kids be kids. Just keep pushing. There's people out there that will listen. There's people out there that care. You just got to fight.
Yeah. Do you think that it's because you never got to experience the joy of childhood that's so important to you? Because I see you at church, I see you at Celebrate Recovery, and like you are just right there with the kids and you're wrestling with them and laughing. And I mean, there's so much joy to watch you with those kids. When you got your 1 year chip, was it 1 year? 18 months at Celebrate Recovery, and there were 50 kids that all came. They wanted to be in your picture with you. Like I teared up because that was so special. Do you think you didn't have that joy, and so that is what are you bringing them the joy that you didn't get to experience?
I think there's that part of it, but these kids need to know they have an adult that they can turn to, that they can talk to about anything, that they can open up and just share their feelings and their emotions. I know growing up, I wasn't allowed to share my feelings and emotions, and if I did, I got beat for it. And I don't know if some of these kids are going through the same thing, or if it's something like that, or if when they try to share, they get told to shut up. But they all need to know that there's somebody out there that's willing to listen, that's willing to share, that's willing to guide them, that's willing to coach them, willing to help them push through what they're going through. I didn't have that though. And unfortunately, that turned me to the streets, that turned me to addiction, it turned me to prison, it turned me to jail, it turned me to 22 years of misery and hell. Like, I was dead. I didn't care no. When I went to prison down here, my heart was completely hard. I had no cares in the world. And now it's just like, I'm all padded up, but I'm just, remember those teddy bears I used to have that you could draw on and tattoo? I'm just a big old tatted teddy bear. Like, I just want to love on people. Especially kids. The kids need it the most. I mean, you never know what a kid's going through. We as adults, we perceive differently than children do. You might think, oh yeah, I just yelled at the kid and told him to shut up. But they could be thinking, oh my God, this is the same thing I get at home, everybody's the same. So you're shutting off their hope. And they didn't know that there's at least one person in this world that's willing to get down on their level and talk.
Not that. So I want to talk about love for a minute. What did love look like to you before in your old life? And what does love look like to you today?
Love to me in my old life looked like abuse, whether it been mental, emotional, physical, verbal. Looked like violence, looked like chaos. Looked like just constant mayhem, constant running, constant bouncing from this place to that place, from this couch to that couch, to living in a car, to a hotel room to hotel room. Love didn't have an action plan. Love had a word behind it. But that word was nothing. It didn't mean anything. It was just words. To me now, love looks like action. If you tell somebody that you love them, where's your heart? What's your heart posture? What are you willing to do to show that person love? Because if you're not willing to show them how you love them, then why are you even saying it? There's no point.
And do you believe that you felt love as a child?
At times. From my mother, yes. But from male figures in my life and others, not so much. I mean, when my father passed away, his side of the family pretty much disowned me. I heard from one of my aunts for the first time in almost 10 years, back about 2 or 3 months ago. And the rest of the family, I haven't heard from them in 12 years, 13 years. But they'll be quick to say, I love you. But how do you love me if you never reach out? How do you love me if you're not willing to say, hey, I want to help you. I want to help you get better. I want to help you. They never did that. There was never no action. It was words.
So today, do you feel love?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Ever since I've been at True Purpose, I've felt love. I've had a bunch of people that have helped me grow. They've helped guide me. They've tested me. They've put me through trials. But it wasn't for the sake of just putting me through trials. It was for the sake of helping me have breakthroughs and helping me get to another stage of my life.
Do you think that's because they have the love of Christ in them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And now you have that in you, and you can share that with all those kids that you're reaching and all those people, and you're going to help those people that don't have someone else.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
That's God's plan.
Yes, it is. And that's what he wants to do with us, right? So is there anything else about your story? Anything else you want to say to people out there? Anything that I didn't ask you about?
Spread the love, but don't let it just be words. Put action behind it.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. Well, Joshua, I've been wanting to hear your story for a while because I knew there was something really special about it, and so really grateful that we got this opportunity, that you were willing to open up. I know it's hard to open up about some of those things that you went through, but I believe it's going to reach a lot of people who are feeling unloved, or feeling unworthy, who are, maybe they're people who are wondering, what can I do? And it's just that encouragement to go out and love some people and be there for them. And so I really appreciate you being willing to come and share and open up and talk about everything that you've been through.
Appreciate you having me here. It's a story that can definitely help people, and it's what it's about. Helping people find hope.
Yes. And that's what the Lord, he wants to use our pain to reach someone and point them to him, right?
Yes, babe.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Isn't it incredible how Joshua turned his whole life around? He went from believing he had no value to helping others find theirs in Christ Jesus. The way that he serves the community and brings the hope that took him 28 years to find to our youth is so inspiring. Friends, if you are struggling with addiction or want to help others who are, I encourage you to check out the organization he talked about, which is called True Purpose. They do an amazing job of helping men and women not only lead lives of sobriety, but also find their God-given purposes. Join us next week to hear another incredible story, and be sure to subscribe or follow so you never miss an episode. Most importantly, I pray that you know, no matter how far you have run from God, it is never too late. There is always hope because you are loved.